first of all, that since we can't pay our debt, that we have to get more debt. And then if that's the case, who's going to buy?
I think there's going to be a vote. What do you expect
Yes.
to happen?
Well, it's an up or down vote on the raising of the debt ceiling. I expect it's going to fail. You know, it doesn't make sense, first of all, that since we can't pay our debt, that we have to get more debt. And then if that's the case, who's going to buy our debt and at what rate they're going to, charge us for
So you're voting no?
To buy our debt. I will be voting no. Yes, ma'am.
I wonder what the impact will be. I was noticing, and the market is open now. It's up about 120 points, the Dow. The futures were up 100 overnight. This mostly on the Greek bailout. And the question is, if the vote is a no and we don't raise the debt ceiling and we have to keep spending, and we've already reached the ceiling, what happens? What confidence will other nations that invest in the United States have?
Well, I think, Jamie, one of the things we have to look at is what are we going to do in the short term? And one of the things we can do in the short term is prioritize our spending in terms of let's pay our interest, so to make sure that our creditors at least get the rate of return that they were promised. If we can at least pay interest and live within our means, then we can start cutting away at other expenses. That gives us the opportunity to, I think, rein in our debt without taking on more debt. And it also gives some sense of confidence to the market that in the long term we're going to be able to meet our obligations, because it's the long term that we're really looking at here.
The president plans to call both sides of the aisle to the White House. Interestingly, initially not together,
yes,
but at separate times.
Right.
Do you plan on attending?
We'll be going. I do plan on attending. We've been invited over at Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock for this specific purpose, to talk about spending cuts, talk about the debt ceiling. And this is a very crucial issue, as you well know, and I do want to be engaged in it, so I will be there.
Well, my guest, Rob Taub, has brought a sign with us, and I don't know if you can see me, but it says bipartisan. What are the chances when it comes to spending and debt reduction?
Well, I equate this to somebody who may be, addicted to drugs. And at least both sides have acknowledged, including the president, that we have a problem, and that's a spending problem. Now, what's the next step do we take? Some want to raise taxes, but I think I don't. But some also now are starting to believe that maybe we need to cut spending. And so, in that regard, I think it's starting to become bipartisan. The collapse will be bipartisan if we go that far. So we really need to be engaged jointly. But we're still, as you know, far apart from each other.
I want to ask you a quick GOP question, because there was activity over the weekend. Rick Perry saying maybe I'll think about it. Sarah Palin on the back of a Harley. When you look at the field of candidates right now, and we even brought up the name of Jeb Bush, who in Florida was very successful fiscally, left a lot of money on the table in a state that has no income tax. How do you think the field is shaping up, and are there any names that we have not heard yet that you are watching?
I'm watching all of them. As I see those starting to drop out, like Governor Huckabee, like Governor Daniels, I see more coming in to consider it, like, of course, Rick Perry. I think we're still a ways out. I think we're 6 months out from defining who the field is going to be made up of the top three. So I'm just keeping an eye out to see. But, this is a wonderful opportunity for somebody who has experience fiscally in controlling budgets and living within their means to reach out to the American voters and truly bring this country back financially.
Could that be Mitt Romney? He's often talked about as the one with the most economic experience.
And that's true. And I think that more people are concerned about why they don't have a job or why they can't meet their debts. Or their obligations, and therefore I think people are going to be craving somebody who has business acumen, who can work within the budget constraints that we are going to have, hopefully, and bring this country back. Mitt stands a good chance of doing that. I think Herman Cain stands a good chance of doing that. Anybody who has experience, not only in the private sector, but also in the government sector. I mean, Jeb's a great friend. I'd love to see him do it, but I just don't think that's going to happen.
At least not for now, he has said. What about the state of Florida? How key a role will Florida play in 2012?
Well, I was first elected to the Florida legislature in 2000 when the center of the universe was in Tallahassee, when we were trying to decide who was going to be the electors that are going to elect the next president. We are a keystone state. No offense to Pennsylvania, but we are crucial in the next election. Even though we have a Republican legislature and a Republican governor, the majority of voters are Democrat. We've got a strong independent base of voters here, and our state went for President Obama last election, so we will be crucial.
All right, Congressman Dennis Ross, I really do enjoy speaking with you, and I appreciate that you join
Likewise,
us
Jamie.
when you do. So please come back.
Thank you very much for having me, Jamie.
Have a wonderful
good week.
day.